Welcome everybody to the Museum Hot Shop. This week we have visiting artist Cedric Mitchell here. Cedric's going to be demonstrating his modern glass blowing here. He was awarded this residency through the application process. So we've invited Cedric here for 5 days to demonstrate his work, and we're just getting started actually. Right now, he's applying the color. This is going to be kind of a two-part vessel. So as you can see, like on the picture here, this is made out of 4 parts. This one we're going to do right now is going to be comprised of 2 parts, a little more organic in form than this one. So right now, we've applied the color, which is a black color, to this clear bubble, and then we're going to make a kind of a squiggly little neck. We're going to put that in this unit right here, which we call a garage. It's going to keep it warm. And then we're going to blow the bottom part. I don't know where our MC is. Do you know where our MC is, yo? So you'll have to bear with me. I'm usually just blowing glass. So right now, Cedric has applied black glass over a clear bubble. We call that a color overlay. It's a very common way to color the glass. We melt only clear glass here, which allows us to use the whole palette of these colors. We have about probably 700 different colors to choose from. The way we're doing it today is through this color bar. So we've taken a little piece of this color bar, smeared it kind of like a candy coating over a clear bubble. We're going to put more clear glass over that and blow it into this kind of squiggly neck. So I'll talk about some of the temperatures we're dealing with here. When the glass comes out of the furnace, 2125 degrees Fahrenheit. The reheating chamber we're using right there, the glory hole, it's about 21 to 2300 degrees Fahrenheit. You'll see us using these torches sometimes. The torches are anywhere from 3,000 degrees to about 5,500 degrees. The little small, this one right here, it's oxygen and propane. That one is the hottest thing in here, and that's used for getting one specific area really hot, and that one burns about 5,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough that you can actually boil the glass. So let's see, other temperatures when we put the glass away to cool down, it's going to be right around 1,000 degrees. At 1,000 degrees, glass is not really moving. One of the things that's unique about glass is it doesn't have a temperature associated with the liquidity or solidity of it. So water, it's 32 degrees, it's ice, it's a solid. Glass does not have that temperature association. So the hotter it is, the softer it is. So at about 1,000 degrees, it's very recognizably glass. It has a nice glassy sound. If it was to hit the ground at 1,000 degrees, it would shatter. So now Cedric's going in to coat this bubble with more clear glass. And when this glass comes out, that's at its hottest point, about 2,100 degrees. You'll notice he's turning the pipe. If he wasn't to turn that pipe, the glass would just fall right on the ground. Can I answer any questions? So usually right after they gather, the initial step is to just round that thing out and kind of even out the temperature. So it's using a cherry wood block soaked in water. That's going to give that glass nice skin. So glass is, it's kind of similar to working in a, like making a sword or something. You shape it a little bit, you do some work to it, you heat it. Shape it, heat it. So we're going to be going back and forth to the glory hole, get the glass hot enough to shape. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking, but when he came out of this oven, he had coated that with clear glass. So there's a tiny bubble of clear glass. We've smeared a small layer of black glass, and then we put another layer of clear glass over that. So right now, that thing is hollow, and you can see that real dark orange spot on the inside. That's where the black glass is. And now he's introducing some air into it, and that black glass is just going to spread out, and the whole thing will appear black. And the things that make the color in glass are same things that color paint, different metal oxides and mineral salts. No, to apply this color, what we do is we take a little chunk. It's all dependent on how dense you want the color, how dense the color is to begin with. We have little chunks of this inside this unit right here that's heated up to about 1100 degrees. We heat that up, make it into a molten state, and then we actually smear it over the clear bubble. We call that an overlay. So we use a lot of different things here to shape the glass. One of the main things we use is gravity. So we're just using gravity. We use centrifugal force. In order to get this object off the blowpipe that it's on now, we're going to have to put a little line in there. We call that the jack line. So we just put that little crease in there. That's going to give us a spot to break this off the pipe later. We use a lot of different tools to shape the glass. Steel tools, wooden tools. One of the main tools we use is wet newspaper. What's that? He was saying, yeah, he does have protection on from the heat. He's wearing clothes. Yeah, it's really, the glass usually doesn't burn us. It's the tools that burn us. So you want to be comfortable when you're doing this. Myself, I like to show off a little bit of my quad gains, so I wear some short shorts. You learn real quick not to touch the hot stuff, but it's hard to tell when your tools are hot. That's usually how you get burned. Yeah, the main thing we need to do here, closed-toed shoes, UV protection on your eyes, and just protection from the heat and from glass breaking, and cotton clothing. You don't want to wear synthetic clothing. If that lights up, it's going to melt to your skin, so you want to wear cotton. Burns nice and cool if that was to happen. The main injury you're going to have here, same thing if you're sitting at a desk, carpal tunnel, some sort of carpal tunnel, tendonitis, golfer's elbow, tennis elbow. And so when your hand is near that glass, it does get hot sometimes, and when we're making something big, what you'll see is somebody will grab these paddles and they'll put it between the glassblower's skin and the glass, and that'll shield them from the heat. So this is day one, like hour one of a 5-day residency. So Cedric is just kind of, getting used to the shop, getting used to us. This is the first time he's worked with us. The question was how long do we have to work with the glass before we have to reheat it? It depends on how thick the glass is, how big it is, but generally, you got a good 30 seconds to do some work. Yeah, it depends on how hot you get it too. When you're first learning how to do this, it takes a long time because your hands you can't get it hot enough to do what you want to do. Like now, like when we blow glass, I've been doing this for 27 years. Like I can make a cup in probably 2 minutes, and when I first started, it might have taken me half an hour to make just a simple drinking glass. Now I can do about 2 minutes probably. there is kind of a sweet spot in this, the reheating chamber, the furnace. There's two burners that are in the side of that come in at an angle. So the hottest point in that glory hole is just beyond where the doors are. So, you know, you get used to that. Every glory hole is different. The burners, where the burners are, makes a big difference. You know, I've blown glass kind of all over the world now, and like some of the way the shops are set up in Sweden, the way the glory holes are, they're so hard to get the heat for doing something like this, at least in the factory where I worked. And one of the things that makes glass difficult too is you always have to keep the whole thing slightly warm. When I say slightly warm, above about 1,000 degrees. If we were to let this, if that top of that, you can see where it's colder on this. Obviously, it's true color almost. It's black up towards the pipe side, and then it's really orange on that far side. But if he was to let it get too cold on that pipe side, it would just crack and fall on the ground. So it's a real balancing act. These torches that we have at the bench have really allowed us to kind of push the scale and complexity of things because we can balance the heat a lot better with that. I'm going to call Emily and ask her. Oh, you did? So this piece that we're making right now is going to be attached to another open-ended bubble. When we do that, we call that process incalmo, which comes from the Italian word meaning to graft. So in order to attach us to another bubble, we're going to have to open the end of that up. So what Cedric's done here is he's made another constriction in the glass so that we can break this off, open the end up. What you need, man? So right now he's gonna heat the middle of this thing up. We can use these torches to kind of spot heat it because he wants this to have kind of a sag in it, to be kind of a curly looking neck. So we're gonna use this map gas torch, which burns at about 3,000 degrees, to kind of heat up one area of the glass. And again, we have to keep this whole thing warm so it doesn't crack. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna go in and flash, what we call flash. So this is that's a flash. You'll see when he comes out, the middle of that glass where he's been torching is probably gonna have a little bit more color to it. So you can see that hot spot in it now. So you can see when we stop turning, the glass just kind of naturally sags with gravity. You want another door? Nobody's up in the booth right now either? The question was, how long does he leave it in the oven? It just depends on how hot he wants it. He leaves it in there long enough that it's, when we go in there for just like a couple seconds, we call that a flash, and that all that is just to maintain the temperature. If this were to get too cold, when I say cold, below if it drops below about 1,000 degrees, it's going to start spontaneously cracking and then fall on the floor. So right now he's just kind of maintaining heat. He's got that bend the way he likes it, and now we've opened the end of that bubble up so that we can open the tube up so that later on we can attach this to another pipe. He has all these little, what he's calling kind of a cheetah print. We call these marinis. So we have a bunch of these on a ceramic kiln shelf. So when we make the base, it's going to have a bunch of these kind of squiggles on there.
So does somebody made those ahead of time?
Cedric made these ahead of time and brought these here, yeah.
So does Cedric have his design in mind, or does he just sort of improvise?
No, the question was, does Cedric have his design in mind, or does he improvise? No, he has a design in mind, yeah. He has a sketchbook right here, and he has drawings, and he showed everybody the drawings before we started, so we all know what's going on here. He has 3 different kind of designs that we're going to be working on, kind of like a cheese wedge bottom with a squiggly neck, one that's going to look kind of like a Cheeto with a squiggly neck, and I think the third one was like a kind of a gumdrop with a squiggly neck. So it's going to be, I think the first one we're going to do is the kind of the cheese wedge with the squiggle neck. So first thing we'll do, we'll make the squiggle neck, and then we'll put that in this unit called the garage, which is going to keep it at a temperature that we can reintroduce it to a 2,000 degree environment. If we were to take room temperature glass, introduce it to the temperature of the glory hole, it would thermally shock and blow up. So this unit right here, we'll keep it at a temperature that it's not really moving, but it's hot enough that we can reintroduce it to the really hot stuff. So the question was, if we wanted to blow this, how do we do it? This is a hollow pipe. So when Ben was sitting over here, Cedric was saying blow, stop, blow hard. So a lot of people come in here and think they're going to see us huffing and puffing and see your cheeks all puffed out. That's kind of only in the movies. Glass blowing is kind of not the best term for this, I don't think, because I'd say the blowing part is about 0.5% of the whole process. Like, we've done most of the blowing already. He's probably going to have Sarah put some air here because when we tried to open that end up, it's still solid there. So what we're going to do, he's probably going to pick it open a little bit and have Sarah blow a little bit. Yeah, when you're in a factory where if you're making like 100 of, like, say, this thing, you'd see a little bit more blowing because they'd blow it into a mold. And when we make something really big, you see some blowing. And these are going to be quite large, but they kind of get large because we're putting pieces together. Like the thing you see up here, this is kind of what Cedric's more known for. These pieces up here, each one of those is blown and then assembled together when the glass is hot. Cedric's originally from Oklahoma, but he's been blowing glass down in the LA area for quite some time now. So the question was, are the assistants out here, are they glass artists as well? Yes. Everyone you see out here, Serena's our film specialist, camera person. She's also a really good second baseman on our softball team. But yeah, Ben over here and Sarah Gilbert, myself, we're the Museum of Glass Hot Shop team. So we are all artists in our own right. We make glass, show glass all over the place, and we help the visiting artists that come here. Sometimes we have visiting artists here that have never touched glass, and we make their objects. This week we have an accomplished glass artist, and we're going to help him with his vision. So yeah, everybody that on the MOG Hot Shop team has been blowing glass at least 24 years. I think Sarah's been. You've been doing it 24 years now, Sarah? 24 years, and she's the least experienced of the three of us, but very experienced. Ben's been doing it about 30 years, myself 27. What's that? Natural gas is used to heat the furnaces, yes. This is also natural gas. The torches are propane. The glory holes take about 45 minutes to an hour to get up to about working temperature, which is about 21 to 2300. The furnaces where the glass is held, those stay on for 8 to 12 years at a time. Those are never shut off, so it's actually a lot more efficient to heat them up once, keep them hot. And if they get cold, glass actually shrinks a little bit, so it's actually a really bad thing for them if they were to get cold. So if we have a power outage, we need to come down here and keep those things hot with a torch, basically. What percentage of glass blowers have burns? Not very many. I don't have any burns on me. Yeah, we don't get burned too often. I'd say once every 2 weeks on payday. Yeah, I probably get burned in the kitchen more than in here. Are we going to make another neck, Sarah? Okay. So it looks like we're going to go ahead and make a couple of these necks. It's a lot of times especially when you're figuring something out, it makes more sense to make a couple, but JK, LOL, we're not. We're going to make the bottom. So we need to get these Marinis in too when we do that overlay. So they're just taking some calipers of that opening of this so that when we make the base of this, here, I'll give you guys a little quick rudimentary chalk drawing on the floor of what we're kind of going for. Cedric, you said this is... This is going to be kind of the cheese wedge one?
This would be the bean. So
okay, the bean. Okay, you'll draw it? Okay. I mean, you could try to draw it more accurate. I was going to try to just give them a quick, just because they were wondering what we're making. So Cedric, our artist, is going to do a little quick chalk drawing on the floor. And this is a real traditional way of like conveying your idea to the team too, is just drawing chalk on the floor. So now Sarah's going to pick up the base color, which, you picking up that orange color? Or? So we have a turquoise color, kind of like this. And I think another one we're going to use is this kind of yellowy orange mandarin. Yeah, so this is orange. But he's...
What do you add then? How is glass made?
So how is glass made? Glass is made by melting silica sand, soda ash, and lime. That'll give you clear glass if you want to make it colored. when that glass is first cooked up, you need to add some sort of metal oxide and or mineral salt. So same kind of thing as like coloring paint. You add gold to it, you're going to get a ruby red. You add copper to it, you cook it one way, you can get a blue. You cook it one way, you can get a red. You add cadmium to it, you're going to get a yellow. So what we do here and what most people do nowadays is they melt clear glass. We have 2 furnaces full of about 800 pounds of clear glass, and then we add the color by using these different color bars. So there's a company in Germany that melts these. So they have hundreds of different furnaces. They add silica sand, soda ash, lime, and then whatever mineral salt or whatever metal or mineral salt to the mixture to make the color. They're trade secrets. Everybody has their own formulas. So we buy these in different forms. One of the forms is bar. You could buy it in a powder. You can buy it in kind of a gravelly form called frit, and there are different consistencies of that frit. So what we're using today is mainly going to be the bar. So the way we're going to color this, we're going to do what's called an overlay. We're going to give the glass just basically a candy coating of color. Let me see if that thing's in here. So when you color glass, anytime you're looking at something that looks colored nowadays, I'd say 98% of it is clear glass. It's going to have one small layer of color in there. The rest is going to be clear. So what we're going to do, we're going to make a bubble of clear glass. We're going to melt that color. Ben's got that. You can see that right here. Ben's got a little piece of that turquoise glass. He's going to melt that until it's really hot and kind of like just a blob. They're going to put that blob on top of Sarah's bubble. Sarah's heated up a hollow blowpipe. She's going to gather, create a small bubble, and then she's going to drop that blob right on top of the bubble and smear it. Oh, they're back. So our AV person is up now, is here, so we can actually play a video. Let's play the overlay video.
The color in glass comes from adding various materials to the mixture of raw ingredients called batch. Most of the colorants are compounds containing some kind of metal. For example, adding cobalt to clear glass creates a deep blue. Tin and antimony can be used to create white glass, and gold chloride can produce a rich red or pink colored glass. Colored glass is melted in furnaces, just like clear glass, and then is usually rolled into bars for storage and easy application. In order to apply color bar to a bubble, we first need to preheat the color to approximately 950 or 1000 degrees Fahrenheit in a color oven or garage. Once warm, the color is then picked up on the end of a punty rod using a little bit of clear glass as a support. The color is then heated in the 2300 degree glory hole to soften it and make it malleable, while another artist creates a small bubble of clear glass on a blowpipe. Once warm, the color is dropped over the clear bubble, and then using a variety of hand tools or the steel marver, the color is rolled back over the clear in an even layer. This process is called dropping color, or creating a color overlay. Depending on the project, that bubble is then usually gathered over with clear glass and blown into the final form. The finished product may appear to be all made from colored glass, but when viewed in cross-section, we can see that there is only a thin layer of color sandwiched between many layers of clear glass.
Can we play Charging the Furnace now? So this is how we actually get our clear glass.
Charging the furnace is what we call filling the furnace up with glass. Glass cullet is washed clean and loaded into tubes for filling. Here at the museum, we don't use recycled bottles. Instead, we melt cullet that has been specifically designed to make blown glass art. The primary ingredient in glass is silica sand, or silicon dioxide. The other two main ingredients are soda, or sodium oxide, which lowers the melting temperature, and lime, or calcium oxide, to stabilize it. Once the cullet is loaded into the 2300-degree furnace, a rake is used to level the glass for even melting. The furnaces at the Museum of Glass hold approximately 1,000 pounds of clear molten glass and run continuously 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
So the only thing that's in that video, we used to melt what's called cullet, so that has already been, it comes in like those little ice cubes. Now what we're doing is we're melting it the straight batch, which is, it looks more like a cake mix, like flour basically. So there's a glass usually comes in the form of a batch or cullet. We're melting batch now, so it's basically just what you saw in the video has already been batch melted into cullet. Here's the drawing on the floor here. So we got the neck in here. Now we're going to start the base.
Glassmaking developed in many places simultaneously, or China, Jerusalem, or
Well, Question? No, because we use very little natural gas. It's actually it costs more to heat the building than it does to heat the furnaces. Yeah, it's when you're heating such a small, well insulated space. Once it's hot, it takes very little gas to keep it hot. Oh yeah, we're good. We're not worried about it. So now we've got almost the amount of glass to make the bottom part. We're going to shape this up in such a way that we're going to put one more layer over it and then roll up all these little decorative bits that we have on a ceramic kiln shelf sitting in this unit right here. So now, yeah, we've got all those little things picked up. Now we're just going to melt that in to the surface to make everything smooth, and then we can just blow that whole thing up. I'm sorry? The question was, what keeps the heat from going up the bar? When the bar, the blowpipe does not get that hot. One, because it's what it's made of, stainless steel. Some of them are made of carbon steel. Those do get a little bit hotter. Two, we're never heating it up. We're just heating the glass up. So, like, part of it is in the glory hole. That part does get hot. So we don't put our hand there. That pipe is long. The head of it is solid. So when you look at this pipe, this part is solid, so that definitely holds heat more. This is all hollow, so that dissipates the heat a lot. So it's, where it starts to discolor, that's usually about where it gets hot. I can hold it up to there, no problem. And it's been in this hot chamber. If they do get hot, we take them to this little unit here. It's called a pipe cooler. And that'll allow us to choke up on it a little bit more. But the main reason they don't get hot is because we don't heat them up. When we go into the furnace to get the glass, that's usually when we have to stick the pipe way into the heat source. That's usually when they get the hottest. And that's usually when you'll see us go over to the pipe coolers when we gather the glass. So Sarah's rolling it on a steel table called the Marver, and the glass is so hot right now that the steel's not going to affect it. If you were to roll 1,000-degree glass on there, it would shatter, yeah. But right now the glass is so warm, the Marver's not going to really do much except for shape the glass. That's one of our shaping tools at our disposal too, the Marver. Traditionally, those were made out of marble. Yeah, right now we're kind of trying to get a uniform temperature. So right now what they're doing is they're letting it cool down so that when we heat it, the skin is going to get hotter. So if the core of that is really hot, it's going to be moving around a lot. We're trying to melt in the texture. So right now, Sarah let that thing get cold so it's not moving around so much. Now we're getting it really hot, the surface should get hot quicker than the core is going to get hot, and we'll be able to melt that surface. So I'm going to hand you guys over to Mackenzie, who's one of our MCs. Mackenzie's been part of this program, the Hilltop Artist Program here in Tacoma, which starts kids at 12 years old blowing glass. She's not 12 anymore, but she's been blowing glass for a while now and knows a little bit about this. And I'm going to hand her off to you guys. Thanks for listening to me.
All right, so welcome into the Hot Shop. My name's Mackenzie, and I'll be your MC for the rest of the day today. And I'm still just catching up on what we're doing today. I'm going to check in, see what they're working on, and just get a little bit of information. But of course, if anyone has any questions, feel free to grab my attention at any point. And has anyone already gotten a good overview as to who our visiting artist is and maybe the pieces that we're working on? All right. So I have a little bit of time to catch up, and then I will jump right back into explaining the process of what they're doing. So what we're working on right now is the main body of the piece. And I'm not sure when you joined in, but we already actually have the neck of this piece done and set aside inside of the garage, which is this large silver box right here. And the purpose of this is just to keep it warm at around 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, preventing thermal shock. But yeah, this is working on the main body of this piece. We've just started to blow the bubble out. It's going to get much larger than it is right now. That's a good question. I'm not sure how thick they want it to be, but I would assume that it's going to be a lot larger than it is right now. We have pretty thick glass, and you could see that thickness when looking at the bubble. You could see there's like this thick layer of clear on the outside. But yeah, we will just kind of discover how large it'll be together. And I do want to show off something that you guys haven't seen yet today, which is actually a slideshow of our visiting artist artwork. And this might give you an idea of maybe the final products of some of the things you might see in the hot shop this residency. So could I have that slideshow up on the screen, please? Thank you. So up on the screen, you're going to see a slideshow of Cedric Mitchell's artwork. And this is all past works, of course, maybe some process photos, maybe some inspiration for what we'll have going on during this residency. And can we move to the next slide, please?